This is Amy Chan from CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. If you're interested in these products, check the links in the description.
Photography backdrops. In this video, we're talking about Bessie Bake's marble photography backdrop, and this is specifically one of their physical backdrops. They also have kind of a super thin variety. And a few things to note. So you can see it has a nice thickness to it, right? It's actually about 3 millimeters, right? And it's a nice kind of dense material, so it lays really flat. We have some other backdrops that are plastic that come rolled up, and even though we've tried really hard to flatten them out, they never quite flatten perfectly, and sometimes they buckle and wrinkle a little bit. So we were looking for a solution to that, and these are working out really nicely for us. They're pretty sturdy, but they're never going to be 100% perfect. So a few things to keep in mind is the corners on these are a little bit rounded, right? So it's not a perfect rectangle, and the edges along here are never going to be like a perfect finish, and as you use these, they're going to be subject to wear and tear, and you probably will get a few little dents and dings along the edges as you go. You want to store them as carefully as possible, but that's not going to be 100% preventable. But typically when you're taking a shot, it's not like this where you can actually see all the edges. You're going to be zoomed in. So you really want to make sure that you're maintaining and caring for these well, but don't get too caught up if you have a few dings and nicks along the sides. It comes with some great care instructions. You want to make sure you read these over and you're actually following them. It actually recommends saving the cardboard, which we have underneath here, and the plastic bag that it comes in, which we don't have in the shot. But if you cut it open on the top and pull your backdrop out, then when you're finished using it, you can slide it back in the bag, and it also has this cardboard behind it, giving it some support for storage and transport. So those are some important things to note. Also things about caring for it as you're using it, stuff like don't chop on it, don't put anything hot on it because you could damage the surface or cause it to warp. And also things about if you're using anything, because a lot of people use these for food like we do, where there's liquids and stuff like that, how to maintain it, right? How to take care of it, how to clean it up afterwards, what it can handle and what it can't. So there's some great advice on that. And as you can see, this gives us a nice marble surface without having to buy a huge marble table. So they're a fantastic tool to utilize in, say, maybe your cake studio if you have one, if you're looking to do some photography yourself, but maybe don't have a great area where you can position your cakes. You can use a couple of these, right? Lay it down on a table, prop another one up against the wall, and you can make yourself a nice little area to take some really clean, beautiful photos. So these are a really useful tool. One thing to keep in mind is, yes, they are thick. Yes, they are kind of stiff, right? But they're not self-supporting. So if you don't have places where you can lay them down or prop them up, you will need to prop them up if you're going to use them kind of standing up, or buy the appropriate clips to keep them in place, right? So those are just a few things about these physical photography backdrops that you might want to know, and a few of the ways that we use them in our studio.
If you enjoyed this video and you'd like more about the cake decorating materials and equipment we use, or just some inspirational videos about cake decorating itself, you can follow us on Insta or YouTube at Cake Decorating School. If you'd like to know more about yearly membership and what it entails, you can go to www.cakedecoratingschool.com for more information. And if you're interested in these products, you can check the links in the description.